going to show you the exhibit. We had a very nice tour with Paul, the curator, who was a very interesting person. He's an expert archaeologist, expert in both motorcycle riding and maritime. I wish I could have recorded it for you, but it was against the rules. But I think maybe John, who will put his footage on my channel, you might be able to hear a little. I'm not sure. But he's documented the whole thing. So let me show you the exhibit. So here's Zen in the Open Road. And let's start over here. Here is the original, the typewriter that he wrote Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance on. Typewriter and manuscript. I'll hold on that a little bit so you can read it. And then over here, there's the manuscript, one of the manuscripts he was submitting around. You see it? So these are the signed first edition. Then there's Lila, and let's move from Lila over to the Apple II that he kind of, what do you call it, heavied up with these boards for extra memory. He was an Apple aficionado. Remember, he was very technically oriented. He understood how computers work, and he was really into Apple. And he wanted to purchase the original Apple word processing software. Of course, they declined, but he was very involved in Apple at the beginning. So they said it was very hard to light the inside of this computer because they have to keep the light very low because of the archival issue. So the curator said that the archives, Robert Pirsig's archives, were pretty much pristine. That not pristine, but they were not decimated into this place and that place and sold off. Everything was there together. The motorcycle here, Robert Pirsig himself revamped it between 2014 and 2015 when he was quite old. Remember, he died in 2017, well in his early 80s. So they preserved it in a certain way. They flushed it out with silicone. There's part of the story, you probably can read it, that I kind of am missing now. It has to do with how they obtained it. It has to do with being seized property. Anyway, so that's in the archives. And this is something that's really interesting. Okay, here's that. This is a book that you're probably never going to be able to see, that he wrote, that was published. And guess what? It was about the plague. Can you imagine if this had been available to us in COVID? Maybe it would help us navigate that weird situation we were in. You know, he's helping us navigate reality. I think he's going to help us navigate, technology. And so he could have helped us navigate the pandemic, right? All right, let's go over here. Here's the main board. And so this is just a little bit about him, as you already know this stuff. Now here's the shop manual that he refers to in his quite a bit in Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. 5,700-mile trip. Wow, I didn't realize it was that long. Motorcycle key. I asked the curator, Paul, if they had found the gloves. They did not, but they do have goggles. But he said that they were unused and not very interesting to look at. Key, the original helmet. The original jacket. You've probably seen that in some photographs. I know a lot of guys. And of course, these photographs you see. Now let's go over here. And one thing that the curator told us that's very interesting is that Pirsig was much more interested in sailing than he was in riding motorcycles, and that there's such a tremendous amount of the archive that they discovered was related to sailing. So there's Arete, and there's, I think that's Wendy. There's Bob, I think, yes, and there's Arete. And then we go over here. This is the navigation equipment. That's all he used was this um, calculator, this watch, and this sextant. There's the propeller. Now this is really funny and interesting. Disaster list. I mean, he was prepared, right? This really figures into the way that Pirsig thought ahead. And here's a disaster list. So let's see if you can see it. I'll try to hone in on it a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it says, if boat is going down, pull cord to inflate life raft. Hang on to painter. Number 2, untie dinghy. Number 3, the dinghy painter giraffe. Now remember, some of that stuff, he kind of talked about in Lila, because there was a situation where they might have been in there was a storm and it might have been worse. So he's got all this preparation. Remember the list from Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, same kind of thing. See? Framed watercolor of arate. There's a picture of what it looked like. Now here's the open road. So this is a really cool, this segues from the exhibit over here to the chart. That's the open road, which is the open sea. And that is how he kind of thought of it, that this is the open road. And here's a copy, very nice transition, a copy of the chart that they used to navigate the Atlantic. And so that is pretty much the end of the exhibit. I'll take you back one more time to see the motorcycle, and then we're going to end. And we had a really great tour. The curator was really an aficionado of both of Pirsig's travel methods and of Pirsig himself. So very nice exhibit. We need that, right? So thank you so much for joining me, and look forward to a documentation by John, one of the members who attended. And I'll see you next time.